We are delighted to have you here at the Phil SME Business Show. This is the first ever community-hosted business podcast and vodcast, dedicated to help SME business owners like you to boost your business.
Hi, welcome to the Phil SME Business Show. My name is Margo, the Partner Success Manager of the Phil SME Business Network, and I am so happy to be your host for this episode. Today, we will be hearing about the business solutions that Sprout Solutions provides for SMEs like you. Today, we are meeting Kislay, who hails from India, came to the Philippines to pursue an MBA at the Asian Institute of Management. Upon graduation, he decided to stay back and help local startups grow. Armed with his 14 years of experience spanning product management and software development, he oversees day-to-day operations at Sprout. Hi, Kislay. It
Hi,
is
Margo.
so nice to meet you.
Thank you.
So, before we start the episode properly, and before we go to the main topic, I would just like to ask you, what is your most memorable Phil SME experience?
Okay, interesting that you say that. So, it's not my experience per se, but the experience, of my, people from our company, my colleagues. So one of the most memorable things that happened, at one of these expos was that our founder, he was looking at the sea of audience and he was wondering, because, typically our solutions, are used by like medium to larger businesses, right? So he was like, what can we do as a company, to reach out to a broader segment of, SMEs, even the really, really small ones? And incidentally, that led to the birth of what we call the payroll starter, where, what we are saying, is that, hey, if you're a very small company, if you just started, we know that, doing timekeeping and payroll is not the best use of your time. So for 5K a month, for 5,000 a month, just give it to us and we'll do it for you. So essentially, with that offering, you can say that now Sprout has solutions from the very small company to the very large enterprises.
Thank you so much, Kislay. So now I understand that, of course, Sprout Solutions is a dear old friend of Phil SME. You've been to our shows. And I like to think, would you agree, Kislay, that joining the Phil SME Business Expo and being exposed to so many small business owners has made you reevaluate and begin to offer more products for the small and medium-sized businesses?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Like I said, like some of the offerings that we have in our suite right now, they were born of these interactions, with the Phil SME audience, thinking about them, wondering about them, that, hey, we have walked down on that path, right? Sprout used to be like a very small business 10 years ago, right? So we understand the pain. And that's why, like some of these solutions, were born, because we really want to help out these small businesses. It would be a good time for me to, repeat what the North Star of Sprout is. So it actually goes like, it's to impact the life of every Filipino by improving business in the Philippines. Now, the majority of the businesses, any country, are SMEs, right? And that's why, this emphasis on having solutions for the SMEs is so important to us. And we are very much committed to it.
Thank you, Kislay. I can feel the commitment, the passion from here for the SMEs. So you mentioned, you're really committed to improving businesses, to helping small businesses. So what kind of problem are you solving for these SMEs? Can you tell us a story?
Sure. So it would be best illustrated through a story. So let me tell you about, this company, this business, so it's basically a mom and pop distribution business. Okay. They were, they started small, they were doing well up until, they grew up to a certain point. And it turned out, that even though, they knew the distribution business inside out, they knew it very well. They were having a tough time, growing it because day in and day out, they were mired by problems related to people operations like timekeeping, payroll, compliance, attendance, and this and that. So I'm going to give a few examples of that, and I'm sure, the audience can relate to it. So one example would be that since everything is being done manual, the logs, the records are being kept manually, right? When it comes the time to process payroll, they have to run after people to make sure, the records are complete. Okay. So sometimes the records are not there. Sometimes they are there, but they're not correct. And the founders also had this feeling, that there were a few bad apples who were filing for incorrect OT or who were fudging records because, to be honest, if you're doing it manually, how will you keep an eye on, what's what, right? Even if you're a small company, right? And then once payroll was done, there were other issues like, some people got underpaid, some people got overpaid. There was this particular instance, that where they said, that they ended up overpaying by a lot. And then the whole process of, reaching out and deducting that amount from the salaries and the ill will that it created, it was so much hassle. And lastly, whether you like it or not, you have to be compliant with BIR, Puggy Big, Phil Health, right? So all of this also takes a lot of effort, on the part of a typical small business owner, right? It's a lot of work that has to be done, right. And our founders, always had this nagging doubt that I know I am doing all of this on my own. What if I do it wrong? And what if I get, slammed with like a massive penalty, which might kill their business, right? So all of this put together, led them to the realization that they need a solution. Now, here's the most interesting part. It turned out, that one of their suppliers was a Sprout client. And this supplier of theirs, introduced them to Sprout and basically did all the selling. So we didn't have to do anything, right? So, well, that's the best, right? Word of mouth, right? So once they were convinced, that this is the right solution for them, we had like a very short, discussion. They were convinced, we are the right party for them. We are the right partner for them. And after onboarding on Sprout, in less than 3 months, all of these problems went away. Yeah. So earlier in the pre-Sprout era, it used to take them 2 weeks to do all of this. In a post-Sprout era, they're able to do it in half a day. But this is not the best part. The best part is that through all of this, we were able to help them free up their time. And now that time is going into the core of their business, which is they are a distribution business, right? Their job is to focus on that and grow that. Okay? And now they're able to do that. And I'm sure, a lot of entrepreneurs and business owners can relate to this story. Okay. This is not just the story of, like one client of ours. It's like time and again, it's like, this is the pattern that we see all across. Okay. Even actually, when it comes to larger companies.
Thank you, Kislay. I'm really sure that wherever you are, whoever you are, if you're a business owner, you can relate to the same pains when you were starting out. So thank you. What I got from you is that Sprout is really making a difference for, changing the lives of entrepreneurs for the better. But also you mentioned that, all of these things, all of these manual processes that used to take 2 weeks, a month, now you could do them maybe in a matter of a day, minutes. So for the audience listening, can you just share how the solutions work?
Sure. So there are two parts to it, So let me talk about, the before you onboard and after you onboard, right? So before you onboard, it's actually pretty straightforward. We'll reach out to you. Once you reach out to us, we'll set up a meeting. We'll walk you through how everything works. We'll once we have an agreement, we will sign the dotted line, and we will help you onboard the system. This onboarding is basically where we really configure the system according to your policies, your needs. Make sure that the system will actually solve your problem. Train you how to use it, and then we sort of step back into the shadows. We are there, but now you're running the show. Now, once you have onboarded, things are going to run in a very straightforward fashion. Everybody will have access to the Sprout system, all your employees. They will do their timekeeping, logging in, logging out, clocking in, clocking out, through Sprout. All the logs will be there. If they want to file for leave, OB, OT, all of that, will be done through Sprout. And when it's time to process payroll, you have to click a button, all the data comes in. Okay, you have to add, let's say, you have special allowances or bonuses or any adjustments that you want to add. You can add that, do a quick, verification that everything is proper, and generate the bank distribution file. So we are compatible with all major banks in the Philippines. So whichever bank you're working with, don't worry, we'll have that covered. Just send that file to the bank and payroll is done. And with that, all the reports that you need for compliance are also done automatically. So that's how it works. It's that straightforward.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Kislay. So as I was saying, thank you so much for sharing that, you really make things just really easy for an entrepreneur. It's a no-brainer.
Exactly.
Why so many businesses choose to subscribe to Sprout Solutions. So thank you so much. But out of curiosity, I was wondering, I'm sure the audience is also wondering, how did you go about this? What was your vision for creating this company? Can you share with us, what's your story? How did this company come about?
Sure. So it's quite interesting, the story of the genesis of Sprout. So Patrick Gentry, our founder and CEO, he came to the Philippines in 2008. And interestingly, he was, involved with the setting up of KMC Solutions. So, I'm sure you're familiar with KMC, right? They're a pretty big company. Yeah. But while he was at KMC, they encountered this really painful problem of timekeeping and payroll. And let's be honest, timekeeping and payroll in the Philippines is quite complex. It's quite nuanced. And there was no solution out there, that addressed this problem. So they created a solution in-house to solve their own problem. And after a while, they were like, you know what? This solution that we have created, it's solving our problem fairly well. Pat said to himself, I'm sure, there are other businesses out there who can benefit from it. So he basically decided, to carve it out as a separate company, and Sprout was officially formed in 2015. And from there onwards, it has been like a very interesting journey where we have grown into this ecosystem of products that we like to call it, which basically addresses pain points across the employee life cycle from hiring to retiring.
Thank you, Kislay. So now, I understand, Sprout Solutions is very innovative and I believe is reinventing itself and staying innovative as it was back in 2015. But we're also aware that, maybe some businesses, some providers have begun to identify similar problems. So I am sure, there are several service providers offering similar services. But, we understand about Sprout, what sets you apart. But for you, Kislay, what sets Sprout Solutions apart from other service providers, and why should our listeners consider your offer?
Sure. So there are many reasons, why should anybody, consider Sprout, right? So, the words trust, credibility, and track record come to my mind. So like I said, we have been around for 9 years, right? We have been around for 9 years. As of now, we serve more than 1,400 clients across the length and breadth of the Philippines with almost 250,000 users in our system. We are processing 1.5 billion US dollars in payroll annually. Okay. We are ISO certified. Okay. We follow the best practices when it comes to cybersecurity. So all of these things, should assure, our current and future partners, future clients, that in Sprout, you have someone you can trust. We are not some fly-by-night operator. We are here. We are constantly thinking of new ways, to solve pain points for you. Okay. Like I said, the very beginning, Sprout was just focused on timekeeping payroll, right? But over the last 9 years, we have added a lot of solutions to address pain points across the employee life cycle and more. Not just the employee life cycle, even, problems that businesses face. So for example, like lead generation is not a problem, that's connected to hiring or firing or hiring or managing of employees, right? But that is something, that we have a solution for now, an AI-powered solution. And since we are mentioning AI, right, one of the other things, that sets us apart is the fact that our solutions are infused with AI now. Okay, we have a number of bots that can actually do the work for you. You can engage the bot, instead of, going somewhere and asking, like looking through a particular document. Like a great example would be, if your employee has a question around your code of conduct, right? They can go and ask the HR, hey, what's our code of conduct? Or they can go to this bot and the bot will answer all the questions for you. Okay. And that actually touches upon my last point, which is something that you also mentioned, right? Innovation. So we are not the kind of company that's going to rest on its laurels just because, it has grown and enjoyed a bit of success, right? No. We are always thinking of, what else can we do? Because remember, I mentioned, we have a mission here, right? We have a North Star. We want to improve business in the Philippines because that's going to impact the lives of the everyday citizen. So guided by that North Star, we are constantly looking for ways, to add more solutions to our problems. And what it does for our clients is, in Sprout, you have a partner that will evolve as you evolve. So today you might be a 50-person company, right? Doing 2 million or 5 million in revenue. 3 years from now, if you are a 300-person company doing 600 million in revenue, you can be assured, that we will have solutions to address your problems even at that scale and as you grow. So I think, these are the reasons why, companies should consider Sprout. And I would like to quote you on that. It's a no-brainer.
Thank you, Kislay. That is correct. I mean, with Sprout, they really take care of your business. And I would just also like to quote you as well. You mentioned that, Sprout Solutions will be there for you as you grow. So they could be your partner in growing your business as a small and medium enterprise. And Kislay, this is also another interesting question. So out of the many lessons you have learned in life and business, what would be that one thing that you'd like to share to the world?
So, okay. this is something, that's very close, it's also very personal to me. And interestingly, this is also something that we value a lot at Sprout. So, it's not limited to the Philippines, in general, in life, right? Okay. As consumers or as businesses, we go out and buy many different kind of solutions or products to solve our problems, right? Okay. But in a lot of the cases, once the sale is done, the person or the company who sold you, and it's like, okay, bye. I don't care. Figure it out yourself. Huh? If you have any problem, okay, you can contact my customer center who will reach out to you, maybe, God knows when. So I'm talking about, customer experience, right? Post-sales customer experience and customer support. So at Sprout, we really pride ourselves, when it comes to that. And if there is a lesson that I want to share, is that like, as individuals, as businesses, we really have to care, right? We really need to have empathy for the people for whom, we are providing those solutions, products, services, right? If we don't have empathy, and we don't step into the shoes and try to see what kind of problems they might encounter once they start using your product, your solution, right? And if you're not there to address that, I don't think you will succeed. And that is something that we believe, I'm not saying we are the very best, but we try really hard. Yeah.
Thank you, Kislay. Thank you. For everybody listening, Kislay here at Sprout Solutions has said that, Sprout Solutions is here with you as you grow, and they don't leave you hanging. They take care of you as they grow. So if you're a small business owner listening to Kislay and you partnered with Sprout Solutions, we really believe right now that you can still be their partner now that you're small, but you can still, be their partner even as you grow to a multi-million-dollar corporation. Thank you. So, Kislay, you really mentioned so many good things that Sprout Solutions is offering. So I'm really sure our listeners are, thinking about how they can avail of your services. And I would just like to ask, do you have an exclusive offer for the Phil SME community?
So absolutely. So this is something that I mentioned, in the beginning, worth repeating. If you are a very small business, less than 10 headcount, you don't want to bother with timekeeping and payroll, come to us. We'll do it for you for 5K, no questions asked. And you can reach out to us via Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, or our website, sprout.ph. Now, this offer, obviously, it's for very small, businesses that are less than 10 headcount. But for everybody else, don't forget that we also have solutions for you. So no matter what your size, we have a solution for you. But for our new ventures, for the babies out there, we have a very special offer. We call it the payroll starter. So just reach out to us and we'll get it done for you in 5K a month.
Thank you so much. Did you say 5K? For just 5K a month, you get all of the many good things that Sprout Solutions are doing for so many businesses here in the Philippines. Thank you. Thank you. So we have almost come to the end of the interview. And of course, we want something. We want our listeners and viewers to listen to something that will make them smile and perhaps laugh. So supposedly, yes. So Kislay, do you have a business joke to share with our audience?
Yeah, I do. So you'll have to, play with me here. So are you ready?
Sure. Let's do it.
Knock.
Who's there?
Sprout.
Sprout who?
Sprout time you did your payroll on time.
Thank you.
That's it, huh?
Thank you again, Kislay, for this interview. Should we see you in the next Phil SME Business Expo?
Oh, I'll be there. Yeah.
Thank you so much. That's right. We'll see you there. This wraps up our conversation on the business solution that Sprout Solutions offers for SMEs like you. If you wish to know more about the Phil SME Business Network and the Phil SME Business Expo, just go to www.philsme.com. Again, that is www.philsme.com. Thank you for listening.
Thank you for listening to part 1 of this episode. For more information about the Phil SME Business Network and Expo, visit www.philsme.com.
Welcome to the Phil SME Business Show. My name is Kislay Chandra. I am the Chief Operations Officer of Sprout Solutions, and Sprout is a proud member of the Phil SME Business Network. Now, I'm really honored to be your host for this episode. Today, we'll be hearing about the business solutions that Innity Philippines provides for SMEs like you. Hi, Andre Agawin.
Hello.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing fine. Thank you for having us. Thank you for having us in this podcast.
So, before we get into the questions, would you mind sharing with us, your memorable Phil SME experience or story?
Actually, our most memorable Phil SME experience or story was the last one because this was our first time actually joining Phil SME. So it was our first time getting to know all the members, having an opportunity to speak, and then just engaging with the community as a whole, listening to what the community needs. So that was something very eye-opening and enlightening for us, and something that inspired us to participate more with the community.
That's great. That's great. So, let's get straight to the point. What company pain points are you working on? What kind of entrepreneurial problems are you fixing? And could you also walk us through some of these solutions as to how they work,
Right.
so our audience, can appreciate it better?
Right. So, as simply as I can put it, Innity addresses marketing solutions, marketing issues rather, using digital solutions. So, think of yourself as a new entrepreneur. You just started off your business, and like any entrepreneur nowadays, you start off by establishing a presence online,
Yeah.
whether through a
Yeah.
website or social media.
Yeah.
Or maybe you're an established business and you already have a social presence.
Yeah.
And then, you feel that you're not maximizing it.
Mm.
Innity addresses both issues, whether for new entrepreneurs or established ones. We help or we address any and all digital marketing solutions or digital marketing issues. So whether it's trying to reach your audiences through online, driving consideration, and even ramping up your e-commerce sales, we have a solution or we have a strategy to address each part of the marketing funnels issues.
See, that's interesting. And just curious, that in today's day and age, do you still think, there are some businesses out there who still feel, that online is optional?
Yeah, I think that's a really great question. I think here, at least here in the Philippines, there are local businesses that feel online is still a gimmick. And while maybe you and me, we've had more experience online, we can say that, oh no, it's a requirement. They've actually been doing really well without online presence.
Hmm.
So with regard to businesses like that, I find it an interesting challenge on how do we show them the value of online, or how do we show them the value of digital marketing when they're doing so well without it.
That's quite an interesting problem. Yeah. So, how did you go about, founding the company? Like, can you tell us the genesis story?
Right. So, Innity was founded in 1999.
Wow.
And our home base is in Malaysia. So, our two founders, Pang and Fabian, got together and asked the question, how can we make online advertising easier? So, at that time, the only online advertising solutions were websites. So if you wanted to advertise online, you would go to a website and then ask the website operator, can I place an ad online?
Yeah.
And it was good and all, but if you wanted to reach 5 websites, and you'd have to go to 5. If you wanted to reach 10, you'd have to go to 10, 20, 30. So they thought of a solution wherein they looked at how Google was doing it and tried to do a local version, which became the birth of our ad network. So they got together all the local websites in Malaysia and then told them that every time someone wants to advertise on your website, instead of coming to you individually, they go through us and then all the ads can show on your network. And then we do a revenue sharing. And with that, they tried to replicate the same business model across Southeast Asia. So next was Hong Kong, then Philippines, Vietnam. And here we are.
Wow, that's quite fascinating.
Yeah.
And you said 1999, right? So if I did my
99.
math right, this is your 25th year.
This is, in the Philippines, this is our 12th year. We started 2012, but globally or regionally, it is our 25th
Wow,
year.
congratulations. That's quite a milestone, reaching 25 years.
Yeah.
So, great story, but that brings up the question, that you're not the only player in the market, right? So
That's correct.
what's great, what's unique about what your company has to offer, that our SMEs, should consider you?
First is we have our own proprietary solutions. But our proprietary solutions, I'd like to consider them as tools. Like anything in digital marketing, every platform is just a tool. So that's why I don't focus on our proprietary solutions as much, because it may not be the correct solution for the brief. So why do SMEs, or why should SMEs consider us, is we have a solution, or we have a strategy for any situation, for any budget, and any company. And I'm not saying that the bigger, more established agencies don't. It's just that the bigger, more established agencies tend to focus on big picture or big problems or macro level companies. And very little actually offers solutions for an entrepreneur that's just starting, or a local company that's looking to amp up their digital presence. So with that, we offer any and all solutions for these type of clientele as well as big brands. And we can adjust depending on your scope, your budget, and your field.
So that's an extremely, valuable value proposition and worth repeating. So to all the, SMEs who are listening us, out there, remember, that Innity is there to help you, the small guy, the SME, the mom and pop. Yeah? They have a solution for you that would fit your budget, your scope. Okay, so please remember that. Okay, and that's great what you're doing for the company. I mean, for the economy. Do you have any exclusive offer, for the Phil SME community?
Yes. So after we joined the first Phil SME session, we thought to ourselves, like, what is the solution that most SMEs are looking for? What's the pain points most SMEs are looking for? The very first touch point, or the most accessible touch point of any business, is their social media presence.
Yeah.
And then they would normally not have the manpower or the expertise to do this. And for a low price of anywhere between 30 to 50,000 pesos, we can help you get started with your social media presence. We can help manage it. We can produce the content for you, and then create, a strategy on how to organically grow it. And if you see that's effective, we can also run test campaigns. We can give you ad credits up to 20,000 pesos to see how far we can take your digital media presence with just that limited budget.
You see, that's a great offer. So for within 30 to 50,000 pesos, basically any company, any small company can have its own marketing team.
Yeah.
Okay. I would say that's quite a steal. Okay. And
it is.
Yeah. And in today's day and age, I don't think online is an option. So let's remind our audience of that.
Yeah.
That's great to hear. So you have been a successful, individual. Is there any lesson that you have learned in life and business that you would like to share with our audience?
This is the same lesson that I teach our strategy team, like a department in our company. Whenever you find yourself lost or you don't know what to do, go back to your objective. Like, go back to your why. Like, why you started in the first place. Because without an objective or without a why, you'd be easily disheartened. Like, when things start to get rough and you don't remember why you're doing it in the first place, it's very easy to give up. But if you have an objective, or you know in yourself, okay, I started because of X, I started because of Y, then you can always go back to that as a source of motivation. So it can either be applied in business, like if you're struggling in your marketing campaign, like, oh, there's 101 things I can do. What do I want to do? Go back to your objective. And if you find yourself lost in life, you don't know what to do, go back to your objective. Go back to your why.
That's a great lesson. And thank you so much for sharing that. It's definitely a good reminder for me, start with why. It's like a fundamental, timeless, ageless life lesson. That whenever you're lost, whenever you find yourself struggling,
why?
Go back to the objective.
Why you're starting. Yeah.
Start with why. That's awesome. Now, before we end this interview, before we end this show, right? Do you have a joke for us? Do you have a business joke that could bring, a smile to our listeners?
Okay. I have one short joke and one long joke.
Sure.
And both deal with accountants. All right. Okay. So first joke is, a businessman is hiring. So he interviews 3 accountants. And then he just asks him a simple question. What is 1 plus 1? The first accountant says 2, obviously. And then he says, thank you for your time. He gets the next one in. What is 1 plus 1? Same guy answers 2, obviously. Thank you for your time. And then the third one, he asks, what is 1 plus 1? And the accountant answers, whatever number you want it to be. So, if I have time, I have a second joke. So, I'll do a little bit of Taglish. So, there's this guy, fresh out of college, he studied accountancy. And, he's looking through LinkedIn, what are the jobs I want to take, what are companies hiring. And then he sees this obscure company, looks like a mom and pop shop, a small enterprise. And then he tries his luck, and then he meets directly with the owner. And then as he's meeting with the owner says, so they're going over his books, and the owner says, I'm the type of person that I don't like thinking about problems. Ayoko na mo problema. Gusto kong pinapasa sa ibang tao yung problema ko. Nag-hire ako ng tao para sila yung problema sa akin. I hire people to think of my problems for me. I don't want to think of my problems.
Yeah.
So the young accountant thinks, yeah, okay, that's pretty straightforward. And then, they eventually get to the asking. So, how much does the job pay? The businessman says, I'll start you off with 120,000 a month. And the fresh grad's eyes light up. Oh my God, this is a really good offer. And then he starts looking at the books again. But how are you able to afford to pay me 120,000 a month? And then the businessman goes, well, I don't like thinking about problems. So that's your first problem. So find me a way on how to pay you 120,000 a month.
Well, if that kid does it, he has earned the job.
Yeah, he did earn the job, yeah.
Enjoy the benefits of being a Phil SME Business Network member. Apply today at philsme.com/network. Are you ready to exhibit and reach thousands of SME business owners, startups, and entrepreneurs? Join the upcoming Phil SME Business Expo. Apply today at www.philsme.com/exhibit.
Thank you so much for sharing that. So, ladies and gentlemen, that was Andre Agawin of Innity Philippines. Remember, that he can set you up for your digital marketing needs for a very, very reasonable fee. Thank you so much, Andre.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone.